into. We're going to pick up on part two with J. Richard Glott. And it's time travel, place to come in with our film.
Back now to Professor J. Richard Glott. I've got a book, by the way, that you're going to want to look into if you go to my website, of course, and click on tonight's guest info. Time travel in Einstein's universe is available. You can jump over to Amazon.com and grab a copy of the professor's book, Time Travel in Einstein's Universe. Meantime, back we go. The reason I ask about that, I'm putting you down so hard, is because I frequently interview Professor Kaku. I'm sure you're aware of Professor Kaku, and he has the theory that there are different classes of civilizations, type 0, type 1, type 2, type 3, varying from, caveman at the bottom of the scale to nearly a god at the top of the scale. And he says there are many, no doubt, many type 0 planets like ours, and we're on the cusp of becoming a type 1. But when you really pin the professor down, the odds of going from 0 to type 1 without blowing oneself up, igniting the Emily 92 extreme, is very slim indeed, very slim indeed. That's why I was asking if you think the email, you said, how much is it make it through that time on again, right?
Well, yes. I mean, I think that there's a very interesting argument here. We're having this conversation in the United States of America, which happens to be the third largest country in the world in terms of population. You've got China with 1.2 billion, India with 1 billion, and you've got 300 million with the third largest. There's 298 countries in the world, and half of them have populations of less than 5.8 million. You are not likely to become one of those 91 countries because most people don't live in them. They live in the populous countries. So, like 97% of the people in the world in countries that are larger than the median in population. So, we are likely, this is the good news, we are likely, our civilization right now, in terms of population, is likely to be one of the larger ones, larger than the median, larger than half of them that you will find out in the universe. Other intelligent civilizations sprinkled out in the universe. And the reason for that is that most intelligent observers in the universe would come from the more populous civilizations. Now, the type 1 civilization that just controls the energy of its planet, which is a bit ahead of where we are. Let's say have a population that would fill up a planet like ours with a population of 6 billion. The type 2 civilization that could control the energy of its entire star, I mean, this could have a population, let's say, 1 billion times larger than ours, maybe 100 million times as large as our own. Therefore, if you're not special, if you're an intelligent server of the universe, those civilizations that have achieved this type 2 status must be rare compared with the type 1 civilizations, very rare, because otherwise you'd be likely to be living on one right now. So the ones that colonize the whole galaxy, say, again, if you colonize the whole galaxy, you have a population 1 billion times larger than we have on our one planet.
That's a lot of aliens.
That's a lot of them. The chances of that must be low. Of us doing that must be low, because otherwise we'd be living on that one right now, and we would know that. Doesn't mean that they're not impossible. They just have to be rare. And we live in an enormous universe, so even rare things can happen. The universe may be infinite in the extent, in fact.
Well, then you're 2,000 years in the future. That would be 100,000 years. Would be a real chance to it.
Yes, but I'd be willing to take the trip. And you know what? If you came back,
would you will? I mean, it's kind of cavalier as you say that. If there, I saw a movie with Jodie Foster that I so dearly love, and it was fairly true in its possibilities, wasn't it?
Well, that was very interesting because Carl Sagan, his friend there, he wrote this book, Contact, about a character who traveled through a wormhole to a distant location. That was his plot. And so he wrote to Kip Thorne, who expert on general relativity, and Sagan wanted to know if this possibility of taking a shortcut to a distant place or jumping through a wormhole, what was the physics of that? And so Thorne looked into the physics of that with his two colleagues, and he found that if you manipulated the wormhole valves correctly, you could make a time machine out of that. So that's what got this great interest in time travel to the past possible, which is possible under Einstein's theory of space-time.
So then it is, I mean, the whole thing is at least scientifically possible.
Yeah. The way this works is that if you go faster and faster, toward the speed of light, your time slows down. But there's a famous limit that says the one young lady named Bright, she traveled far faster than light. She left one day in a relative way and returned home the previous night. So the trouble is in special relativity, you can't beat a light beam. That's sort of the ultimate speed limit in the universe. But in general relativity, where space and time occur, you can beat a light beam by taking a shortcut through a wormhole or dive down by going around the other side, or going around the opposite side of the cosmic string, and you can beat a light beam to its destination.
Right, so again, if you were sitting in Jodie Foster's seat in front of the panel, and they look, Professor, yes, we are prepared to spend money to send you 1,000 years in the future, but really, your family, everything you know, everything you're familiar with, it's all going to be gone, Professor. It's a one-way ticket to the future. As you really, really, really thought about that, you would jump at it, huh?
Yes, I would go. Let me say, I met one of my friends is Troy Musgrave. He's an astronaut. He helped us fix the Hubble Space Telescope.
Right.
I think at the present time, he told me, he said, I'd be willing to go to Mars, to colonize Mars, and not come back.
And not come back?
Yeah, so try. Because if the astronauts on it's having the astronauts on Mars, setting up a new civilization over there, having children on Mars and developing a whole colony on Mars, it would give us some safety margin life insurance policy for any kind of catastrophe that occurred on Earth. And so it's important, I think, to do this while we have the space technology that we have, because
we destroy ourselves, right?
Yes, sir, we could, absolutely. Or we could abandon the space program. I think instead of just destroying ourselves, I think one of the possibilities that people don't often consider, but which I think is a very real possibility, if I came back at a time, say 200,000 years from now, you might well find the population to be smaller than it is today. Because just like you and I come from a large country, because most people will, we also come from a century, now the 21st century, where the population is larger than it is in the median century of the 200,000 years people have been here. So we're likely to live in a population most people do. So the population can well go down.
In fact, the current trends in industrialized countries are that it is going down. So certainly here in America, we're reducing our reproduction rate.
Right.
So I would agree with that. But again, I would think the chances, even 1,000 years in the future, if based on current trends, look around the world right now, nuclear proliferation all over the place. India and Pakistan are making noises at each other. There's enough. We're in the middle of God knows what, and it could become God knows what. There are so many dangers, biological, chemical. Surely somebody out there has a bug that, a 12 monkeys bug out there somewhere.
Sure.
And so the odds of are still being around in 1,000 years with Doug Shotton's theory or anybody else's, it seems to be a pretty slim possibility.
Well, I think the sobering thought is that we're sitting here, you and I, Warren, and we're sitting here, and the human race is 200,000 years old. And a typical mammal species lasts 2 million years. That's the typical longevity, the average longevity of mammal species. So we're not remarkably old relative to other mammal species. In fact, if you look across species, all species from mammal species, mammals don't live any longer than your average insect species and so forth. And so there's no big positive correlation that we would like to hear between intelligence and how long you last as a species. So I think all of these things make us keenly aware, particularly the fact that you and I are having this conversation on the Earth, on the home planet. If people colonize and colonize the whole galaxy, then you and I are very lucky to be living on a home planet with most human beings intelligent beings that evolved from what would be living elsewhere in the galaxy. So
that's our safety margin, right?
That's our safety margin. That's what we should be doing.
All right, Professor.
If we don't do that, if we're just stuck on the Earth and we go extinct on the Earth, then we're not special at all.
That's right. Yes. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about travel. No, let's for a second say you believe, I'm sure, that in 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 5,000 years, somewhere in there, time travel to the past is probably going to be technically feasible. Fair? If we don't destroy ourselves?
Well, I think, again, to do time travel to the past, as I would mention, the time travel to the past is a project, really, that only a super civilization could attempt.
Okay, 1 million years, Professor. 1 million years from now, time travel, if we survive,
and develop, and keep getting bigger.
It should be possible, though, shouldn't it?
Well, we think that it may be possible under the laws of physics, and so some super civilization, if it's possible under the laws of physics, then some super civilization, maybe not us, but maybe some intelligent civilization in the universe, will be lucky enough to survive and become powerful enough. Just to give you an idea, the sort of wormhole solution that Kip Thorne and his associates talked about involves a mass of 200 million solar masses, so 200 million times the mass of the sun. So we're talking about really vast engineering projects here.
I know, but look how far we've come. So let's assume for the sake of the discussion that we never arrived there. It's 1 million years in the future, and we now have time travel to the past.
Right.
If we survive,
right.
My question is it not at least probable that we didn't survive? Because shouldn't there be time travelers here now?
Well, that's a very interesting question. The solution that I found was cosmic strains. And the solution that Kip Thorne found with the wormhole has the following property. That before you're taking space-time and you're twisting it, when the two cosmic moving past each other, as the strings pass, then you can circle around them and travel to the past. But before that, there's an epoch before which, both in the wormhole and in the string solutions, where there's no time travel is possible yet. And so there's no using the time machine, so to speak, before you've built it. So if you build a time machine capable of going to the past in the year 3000, you might use it to go from 3002 back to 3001, but not to 2001, because that's before you built the time machine.
So then time travel to a time any second before you built that machine might not be possible?
Yes, that's right.
That's a good answer to the question.
Yeah, so the answer to why we haven't been overrun by time travel in the future is very simple. No one's built a time machine.
Yeah. No one ever gave me that answer before.
Right.
That's why why would that be? In other words, if the physical conditions that you specify could exist to allow that travel, what would prohibit it to a time prior to the invention of the machine?
Well, let me give you an example. In the wormhole solution, here's the way the wormhole solution works. You have a wormhole that connects with a distant location in Alpha Centauri. This would look like a sphere. It would look like the mouth of the wormhole. It would look to you like a sphere, like one of these reflecting balls that you see in a garden. It looks like the whole garden.
Sure.
Except in that, what you would be seeing in there would not be your earthly garden, but one in Alpha Centauri.
Right.
Because you'd be looking through the wormhole.
Gotcha.
If you jump into that sphere, you would pop out in Alpha Centauri.
Right.
And you would have gone there, it would only maybe be 10 feet through the wormhole,
Right.
instead of 4 light years.
Gotcha.
Now, when you got to Alpha Centauri, let's say we were making the trip, in the year of 3000. You would pop out in Alpha Centauri, but where? You might pop out you would pop out in Alpha Centauri, let's say, in the year 3000. Well, no time travel there. However, Thorne showed that if you move the wormhole mouth that's near the Earth, let's say you take it on a little trip, 2.5 light years away and back, at 99% the speed of light,
Right.
You'll find that if, let's say there was an astronaut who was standing right in the middle of the wormhole mouth, if you would look at him as he went from the Earth, you would see him go away and come back at high speed. So you would see him aging very slowly, let's say only 6 months. But it's 5 years later. So just like the slowly aging astronaut, you would see him aging slowly. So he would look 6 months older to you, even though it's the year, Earth, it's the year 3005. So the other side of the wormhole, though, that mouth has not been moving relative to Alpha Centauri, because there's nothing over there to pull it around. You're pulling it around near the Earth with a massive spaceship. You're pulling it around. And so the mouth of Alpha Centauri is stationary. So someone looking at Alpha Centauri looks at the astronaut, and he sees them aging normally. So that means that the astronaut is 6 months older. It means that the people looking at that astronaut in Alpha Centauri are also only 6 months older. So that means once that mouth has come back to the Earth, you jump through that wormhole, and now you find yourself not in the year 3005 as you were on Earth, but you find yourself in the year 3000 plus 6 months.
All right.
Okay. And so now the two mouths are desynchronized, you see, because you've moved one.
Right. I understand.
So now you're on the year 3000 in 6 months, and in 4 light years back to Earth, you just travel the ordinary way back through the speed of light. You arrive a little more than 4 years later, and so now it's 3004 in 6 months, and you've arrived back home before you started. So it was what built the time machine was desynchronizing those wormhole mouths.
That's right.
And that was something you did in the year 3000.
Right.
So prior to that,
Professor Cool will be right back. This is Coast to Coast AM, top of the hour coming up. Take a ride? Call right now from west of the Rockies at 1-800-618-8255. East of the Rockies, 1-800-825-5033. Inside Dallas, reach out at 1-775-727-1222. And Pilot Car lines open at 1-775-727-1225. And the also free insurance controls your AT&T coverage. And that we have 800-893-0903. This is Coast to Coast Air with our film. From the Professor J. Richard Scott is my guest from Princeton. He is a physics professor here talking about time travel. He says it's possible to discuss all kinds of things that makes you time travel one way or the other. We'll be right back. Stay right where you are. All right, back now to Professor Dodd. Professor, even with all you have told me, I'm still not totally clear. You're saying that under no circumstances would time travel to a time earlier than the time machine was invented be possible. Is that an absolute, or?
Yeah, see, well, you have to, the time machine has to be in existence when you're using it. For example, you might think of space and time like a sheet of paper that you would hold up, and the top of the page is toward the future, and the bottom of the page is toward the past. Right? The horizontal dimension represents space. And so, yeah, space-time is pretty flat. But then you imagine crumpling up the top of the paper. You're creating a time machine. You're twisting space up there in the future. And you're creating a loop. You're creating a change in geometry so that you can circle back to the past, very much like Magellan and his crew. Magellan's crew left Europe. They went west, right, really west, and yet they returned back to Europe because the Earth was curved. It only happened because the Earth was curved. So, likewise here, if you imagine taking a piece of paper and curling it up like a cylinder, that line is going straight up the page to circle back and come back to where it started.
I don't have that, yes.
Yeah. So that's what's happening. The time traveler is going always locally toward the future. That seems to flow perfectly and normally to him. But
He lived in the age of G. Wilson was Bologna.
Well, actually, it's very interesting because H.G. Wells, although in the story itself, it looked like you could take the time machine almost anywhere. Curiously, the time invents, in the story, the time traveler invents the time machine, takes it 800,000 years to the future, and brings back to his friends 1 week after he invented the time machine. So he does not violate this rule.
Oh.
He doesn't go back before he invented it.
Well, all right.
He comes back after he invented it.
Fine. And then movies where there is travel to the past prior to when any machine or anything has been invented or used, yeah, they're blind.
Yes.
Therefore, paradox questions are baloney.
Paradox questions are not baloney because if I go from the year 3002 back to the year 3001, after I've created my time machine,
well, you still have the possibility of
you could still kill yourself, or you could go from the year 3100 back to the year 3001, and then you could kill your grandmother's young girl.
Okay, let's talk about that. I know what Professor Doctor said in answer to that question. If you were to go back and kill your grandmother, your mother, whatever, even yourself,
right?
What would happen?
Well, scientists who deal with working on these time travel solutions in general relativity, they have to deal with paradox, and there's 2 answers to the grandmother paradox. And they both solve the grandmother paradox, but they're different answers. The conservative notion is that the time travelers don't change the past; they were always part of it. So, if there were time travelers, if someone had built a time machine in 1900, so you could go back to the Titanic, if there were time travelers that went back to the Titanic in this picture, they may have warned the captain about the iceberg, but he didn't pay attention to the warning because the ship actually sank. And so it's one 4-dimensional thing. And you may have a world line or a path through space and time, but your world line may loop back and visit the same event twice.
You're just saying you can't change the past.
You can't change the past. That's a conservative view. The other view is that there's the idea of the many worlds theory of quantum mechanics. And that is that there are many worlds existing in parallel.
Here we go. Well, then now you're going down the Professor Huxley path.
Yes, that's right.
He's
quite right about that.
All you would do is virtually create a new universe. A universe in which things unwound in a totally different way because of what you did.
Right.
But it would not interfere with the original one.
That's right.
To which theory do you prefer to subscribe?
Well, I would say that I tend to be on the conservative side there. And I like the idea that one has one self-consistent picture because Kip Thorne and his associates did a lot of experiments with imagining trying to produce paradoxes with billiard balls going back in the past and hitting each other, knocking each other out of the way, wormhole. And they were always able to find a self-consistent solution. So I didn't have any paradoxes in it. However, I would say that this is an unsettled question, and that many of the people who are at the forefront of looking at the understanding quantum mechanics, do take the many worlds theory of quantum mechanics quite seriously. So
it is a growing theory in acceptance, isn't it?
Well, I think a lot of physicists might say that it's sort of an unnecessary addition that you can sort of understand the rules of quantum mechanics without relying on the many worlds theory. But again, as I was saying, a lot of the people that are looking at the forefront of trying to understand quantum mechanics do indeed take it seriously. So again, I wouldn't come down strongly on either side there.
Well, I prefer the latter theory because it answers things more readily. I mean, if you look back and prevented the assassination of President Kennedy, surely things would be really different. But I'm supposing it would be different. For one thing, he'd be alive.
Yeah.
Or I suppose.
That's what happened in many worlds theory of quantum mechanics. Absolutely. Yeah. And you're not, like the time traveler is basically, jumping from causing the universe to branch off on a different branch.
But Professor, so that I understand the other theory, if I were to be able to go back, assuming the time travel had already been invented then, and prevent the assassination of Kennedy, I would be ultimately always, no matter how many times I tried it, frustrated, and Kennedy would be in some other way, another bullet would find him, another grassy knoll guy would get him, whatever. It would happen no matter what I did. It would be incredibly, totally frustrating. Yeah, because no matter what I did, that's true. It would change it, right? Yeah, it's like you, in other words, I'm sorry, the time machine will go before that. Any time travelers were there, why, you would have seen them all just sort of, they would be standing there. They've always been there. And, if you found that you tried to get up into the book of repository, it's time that somebody provides you with a shot with flowers. So, the universe can't allow that to occur. Well, it occurs in one way. Like I say, no matter how many times you watch the movie Casablanca, why Ingrid Bergman always gets on that plane. If we were back trying to affect something, what would we be seeing? Would we not be seeing? What would be? No, you would be seeing. You're physical in every way. Absolutely. You'd be there. You're an atoms. You're a man of atoms. You walk around like anyone else. But it's such an act of finality, for example, to kill somebody. That's why you have problems with that theory. After you kill them, you kill them. You're saying that something would go wrong, the gun would go off. That's right. There's a lot of sort of time travel stories that address this kind of question and tell a self-consistent story. For example, you mentioned Lincoln Mackinac Island. Yes, this is not right. And in that story, Christopher Reeve, the character, meets an old James Seymour. And she gives him a lot. She says,
will skip over that class, but anyway, he's back in town, and he takes the watch, he gives the watch to her, and she takes it with her, and keeps it the rest of his life. He steps back to the future because he's made a mistake and he's bought a farm from the present day with him and he fixed it well and he's back in the future. And he can't get back anymore. And so she takes that watch with her. He gives it to her. And so when he goes to in the room number in the time, it's 9:18 a.m. And so when he goes back in the past, he endeavors to get there at exactly 9 minutes. So he'll sign that book. He's so consistent.
He's in front of the registry, and most times the only out is wrong, and there's a little delay, and he gets to 9:18. Yeah, it's absolutely perfect. So
now the watch is interesting because the watch. The path of that watch through space-time, you draw one line, and it was a line that goes through space and time. It starts at your birth, it goes through the all events of your life, and it ends up at your death. So that watch, because there's a triangle, that watch has a royal line that's a circle.
that's right.
And so that watch never went anywhere near a watch factory. James Seymour had it. She gave it to Christopher Reeve.
Yes.
Reeve took it back. He gave it to him.
Yeah.
Where did they ever visit the watch factory?
I know. It was one question that could not be answered.
Yeah, and so these are particles called GEM particles, and they have circular world lines. And you have to consider them when you consider the quantum mechanics of all this. And one of the things I should mention is that to know whether you can do this, really, according to laws of physics, it's possible under general relativity. But then when we add in quantum mechanics, to really understand whether you can actually do it, we probably need to understand the laws of quantum gravity, which we don't at present. And so that's one of the reasons that the problem is particularly interesting to physicists.
Well, all right. Back to Michigan for a second.
Yeah.
As a physicist,
Yeah.
if I were to ask you to consider the possibility that after all, there are some amazing things going on. There's some amazing research going on right now at Princeton with random number generators that I want to be spending some time on. There are many who believe that remote viewing is real and that there is a collective out there, and that maybe it has something to do with another dimension. I don't have the slightest idea, because I just know remote viewing simply appears real. A lot of the work going on at Princeton seems real. A lot of it seems related to this thing that a lot of the mystics are calling this collective. And I understand as a physicist, it's hard for you to probably grasp, but do you imagine time travel to be possible in the manner described in that movie or something very much like it? Can you even consider it?
I mean, I'm interested in actually doing the physical time travel.
I'm with you.
And so, this is, I mean, in that movie, he sort of did it in like hypnosis or something. Which again, I found to be not as physical mechanism. So, I think the interesting thing is that, again, if you come back and you say, well, imagine this is the universe. Time travel really wasn't possible. And so, here in Einstein's universe, where we have the concept of quantum space-time, and we have these time flexible different clocks take at different rates, you can really physically go back in time or towards the future. Quantum space.
I'm with you all the way, Professor. I'm just asking, I think the answer is no, you cannot consider that.
I haven't been, no. Okay. Well, I'm looking at actually doing it with using the law of physics that we know. And one of the reasons that people take these solutions of general relativity seriously is that Einstein made predictions about light bending around the sun. And these were confirmed in an eclipse expedition in 1919. We got Einstein's value and not the value that Isaac Newton would have predicted. So we have a lot of tests of general relativity. And so we take things like black holes seriously, and these solutions for space and time are twisted.
All right, so I'll just leave that alone. Obviously, I'm not going to consider it. Yeah, let's see where to go. Where is there any research that you would suspect that might be going on right now in, say, private labs or even secret government labs, for that matter, into this whole question of time travel? In other words, could there be active research going on that we're not aware of?
I would suspect not, because Einstein's equations tell you that twisting space and time takes a certain amount of energy. His equations of general relativity say that mass and energy create curvature of space-time. So if you want to have a time machine of a certain size, if you want it to go back a certain amount of time, if you want to have build any of these things that a human being could go through and so forth, these must necessarily involve a large amount of energy, and again, like I said, for some of these are like hundreds of millions of times the mass of the sun. So it's hard to hide large amounts of energy or get it.
Well, it is, but amazingly, every now and then the human race discovers a new form of energy. After all, nuclear energy is here now. Sure, in one form, not the best form, but it's here. And so every now and then we suddenly stumble into some new form of energy. And there are many people who believe there are other forms of energy to be found. We're beginning to speculate a whole lot about them now. If somebody were to suddenly discover one, then time travel could be a lot closer very quickly, couldn't it?
Yes, but I think again you have a situation where the energy has to come from somewhere, and there's laws in general relativity that govern that. So I mean, as we get to one of the things to look for time machines was in the early universe, where some of the space and time are sharply curved, and where you have a lot of energy to deal with.
Suppose we suddenly found some of this special matter.
Yes.
There would be potentially a whole lot of energy involved in that.
Well, the thing is that you see, for example, we have a lot of dark matter in the galaxy today. And in fact, it looks like most of the matter holding galaxies and clusters of galaxies together is not in the form of ordinary particles like electrons, protons, and neutrons that we're all familiar with. These are other particles. These are weakly interacting with our particles.
Listen, we're at another breakpoint, but there are special particles out there, aren't there, that they speculate about.
I'm not exactly sure what you're
saying. There's matter and antimatter, and then okay. Hold on, Professor. We'll be right back. We'll do a little more of this. Well, this, of course, is Coast to Coast AM. Rockies at 1-800-618-8255. This is the Rockies. 1-800-618-8255. Suddenly stumble into some new energy source, which is an ever-present possibility. You never know. Start melting around country with being done, right? But to get enough power, just like that, first we need, say, 1,000 years, 2,000 years into the future. We did that, and came back to the technology from that time, and used it to jump even further, and so forth. You get the idea, right? Would that be one paradox? Category? What do you think? We could suddenly, before you know it, in the space of an island, become a type 3 civilization. I think that's the question that I was trying to ask. If we were to discover enough power to take that first jump, then why not? From there, hey, sky's the limit, right? Here once again is the professor. If you follow what I was saying, if we're still limited to that first additional amount of energy, even though it would be a very great amount, I understand. Yeah, if you allow us to make the first leap, could you then potentially leapfrog your way technologically to a type 3 pretty quickly?
Well, yes, one thing might lead to another. I was going to pick up on what you were saying there about creating your energy source. I think one of the best possibilities for this is a high-density vacuum state. Like existed in the very early universe, the universe expanded by a large factor and got larger and larger and created more and more energy. There's a possibility of making this kind of vacuum state in the lab. Alan Guth and his colleagues have talked about this. You take a sphere of matter, which might only be, 10, 50 or 100 pounds worth, and you compress it to enormous density so that you're heating it up to the temperature that we had in the early universe. It takes an enormous amount of energy, of course, but once you did that, it would usually collapse and form a black hole, and nothing special would happen. But occasionally, it would quantum tunnel to a state where it would form like a doorknob hanging off a door. And this would be a baby universe there. And you would be in the lab that's in the door. And you would see, it would look like a black hole to you, because you would just see the neck connecting the doorknob to the door. You run it in. And with this knob, it would start expanding faster and faster, and this would make a whole universe. It would create an enormous amount of energy over there. But to you, it just looks like a black hole in the lab.
Those are technical models. I would explain something like that at Brookhaven.
Well, some people have talked about, I mean, one of the things that's been discussed is that there are some experiments that have been done with making a medium of Einstein condensate, where the speed of light is very slow. And when the speed of light is very slow in this medium, you might think that this would make it very easy for you to make a black hole. It would lower the energy requirements to make a black hole, or to make a time machine of a given size, because the speed of light was slower. It would take, therefore it'd be easier to do. But you have to distinguish between the speed of light through empty space, which is 300,000 kilometers a second. That's the speed of light that we know. And as the speed of light in the medium, which is less, like water, it goes slower, light goes, sort of 3/4 of that speed for medium for water. And so that doesn't, the speed of light through empty space, which is 300,000 kilometers a second, what relates years and time. So that's the thing that establishes the relationship between space and time, a year in time versus a light year in space. And so it doesn't mean that it's easier to twist space and time, or that it takes less energy to twist space and time, just because the velocity of light in that medium you're dealing with is slow. So according to the equations of general relativity, it should still take just as much energy to curl the space and time around to make a time machine that would be 10 meters across and would allow you to go back a year or something like that.
I've been working on the possibility of mini Big Bangs.
Well, to some of these experiments, what they're doing is they're sort of simulating what would happen, and you can use this low velocity light to sort of simulate what can happen. One of the things that people have mentioned that's an interesting thing. I don't know if this is not Brookhaven necessarily, but one of the things that's certainly been talked about is that if we build a bigger and bigger particle accelerator, the worry was expressed by Martin Rees and T. Huck that if you had an energetic enough reaction with two particles hitting each other, you might you might change the vacuum state in the universe, and this could either be a higher density vacuum state, which would cause one of these doorknobs would cause the baby universe to be born, or it could cause a lowering in the vacuum energy density state, which would cause a lower density bubble, which would expand at nearly the speed of light.
And what about here? Bring it down to where we can understand what are the possible consequences for us if somebody should achieve that.
Well, it could be catastrophic because if you had a lowering of the vacuum energy density, we know today that the universe is showing us an acceleration. It's expanding faster and faster, and so we think that this is due to a very small, low energy vacuum state. This is in that very low energy density, and it has a negative pressure throughout, which has a negative gravitational effect that causes the universe expansion to accelerate.
Yes, the catastrophic part, what would happen?
Well, if we created a bubble of zero energy density vacuum, that would expand out at nearly the speed of light. And the laws of physics inside that bubble might be different. It might cause protons to decay, for example. And so it might cause a catastrophic decay of the stuff that we're made of.
So essentially, we could leak out.
Yes. Now, the reason we don't worry about this too much is that we have observed cosmic rays in the universe created by natural, causes. These are very high energy particles, higher energy, in fact, quite higher energy than the ones that we're currently creating in the lab. And these would have had the chance to naturally hit each other over the past history of the universe. And so, those collisions, which we can calculate how often they would occur. If any one of those collisions had caused a bubble like this to occur, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Nevertheless, there is a possibility, and it's always interesting to ask the opinion of the scientists. If somebody was on the distance of doing this, and even though it was a lesser consideration that we would blink out and the catastrophic occurrence would happen, they would, most scientists would go right ahead and push the damn button anyway, wouldn't they? I mean, doesn't all of history support that?
Well, we do show a tendency to be that way. I would say that, the point of some of these papers that was written is that, in other words, we should take that question seriously. When we get to an energy in our particle accelerators, that it begins to exceed the energy that we've already seen in the cosmic ray particles, then we would be in unknown territory. But then we could be sure that might not be causing a catastrophic decay of the vacuum space, which could destroy the
And why is it not reasonable to assume that if that does at some point become possible, many civilizations push the button, and that's why they're not here anymore.
Well, that's I think that's a very interesting point. Let me discuss that on two different levels. If they done this catastrophic thing of making a bubble of low density vacuum that expanded, this is just keep on expanding, and so if one of them, say a billion years ago, and 500 million light years away had produced this, then we would already be engulfed in this bubble. So we wouldn't be having this conversation. So there's some limits on that kind of catastrophe that we could set for the fact that we're still talking about it. But many civilizations may, as you say, may blow themselves up or come to a bad end because again, because we're having this conversation on Earth. We have not yet successfully, colonized the galaxy and so forth. And so many civilizations may, typical one, may typically not get off its planet. And you wonder why that might be.
And that might be one answer. All right, a little longer since we had about this. So you said since the Big Bang, we've been expanding and creating more and more energy. You said that, right?
Yeah.
I would like to understand how, from any initial explosion, no matter the scale, there would be more energy in my way of thinking, from any initial source of energy, there would be progressively less energy. How can there be more energy?
Well, there's a very interesting fact in general relativity, and that is that the equations of general relativity tell you that locally, if you look in one tiny region, you never see energy and mass and energy coming out of nothing. Okay? And in fact, the equations are designed, that's one of the things that they produce. But in current space-time, that doesn't mean that globally you can't do it, because there's no place, so to speak, in the universe, in cosmology, there's no place far away from all the gravitational sources for you to stand to measure an energy standard. So in inflation, in the theory of inflation, the universe starts off as a very small thing, and it's expanding at a high rate. In that early epoch, the universe, the total energy in the universe goes up. And this is because of this peculiar effect in general relativity that energy is not conserved in a global solution, even though at each little point, if you look, you say, yes, energy looks conserved to me. So because it's curved, there's a possibility of taking a little bit of energy and blowing it up and making a lot of energy out of it. The trick of the universe is used to take a little bitty tiny thing that maybe 24 centimeters across and blow it up into an enormous universe full of galaxies and things that we see today.
Well, let me ask you the question that I ask everybody and never get a good answer to, and never will, and that is, I'm told that everything that we now see, all the planets, all the sun, all the everything, came from one initial explosion from something that was probably smaller than a quark.
Yeah.
Well, my mind doesn't understand that, and I don't think many minds do understand that. How can so much come possibly from so little? It just it doesn't work in the world of physics, does it?
Well, again,
Only in God's world.
Again, one of the things that we discovered is that, again, the total energy density of the consciousness of the universe isn't considered in an expanding universe. So let me give one example. In the epoch since the universe was about 300,000 years old, the universe during that epoch up to quite recently was slowing down into expansion, but it was getting bigger and bigger. So cosmic microwave background photons that filled up the whole the fatty land from the very early hot phase of the universe. Each one of these photons has been stretched as the universe has expanded by about a factor of 1,000. So they're longer wavelengths today. It's called the redshift effect. And again, you can imagine a balloon that's expanding or a wave going, and as the balloon expands, the wavelength of the wave gets larger. And so Einstein's work on the energy of each one of those photons goes down. So anyone who's been cooling off and losing energy in the initial, and losing energy as it's expanded, and also the expansion of the rate is slowing down because the galaxies are all pulling on each other and slowing the gravity.
See, some great theories about that. Others say, no, the universe is not only expanding, but it's speeding up.
It's speeding up today. It's spent a long time. There were several epochs of the expansion of the universe. We think that in the very early universe, we had a period of very rapid accelerating expansion called inflation. Right. And then the energy density in the universe was dominated by a quantum vacuum state that was very high energy density and had a negative pressure. And this negative pressure has a negative gravitational effect. And it caused the universe it caused a repulsive effect. It caused the universe to accelerate faster and faster.
Eventually,
Yes. And yet, when the energy density remains the same during this period, because if you imagine a box in this universe, you would say, oh, it's a box, and then negative pressure and it has a positive energy density. Now, the expansion of the universe pulls on the sides of that box, and because there's a negative pressure or suction, this expansion of the universe does work on the box. It adds the energy density in the box. So if you're looking at it as one little box, it's I understand what's going on. The energy density in the universe is staying the same because I'm in this expanding box and the walls are pulling outward, and therefore I'm getting an additional energy. But actually, what's pulling on you is just the next box. So, from the point of view of the total energy density content of the universe, you're seeing that go up. And something the volume of the universe increases. So, during that epoch, the energy density in the universe is going up, and it's getting bigger. Then this vacuum energy decays into normal particles that we would experience, and it becomes very hot. And then the pressure is positive, and you get an opposite effect where as the universe expands, it cools off. And during that epoch, the expansion is slowing. But usually, for the last several billion years, the universe has been showing a renewed accelerating expansion. This comes on energy. It's permeates all. It's not including the clusters of galaxies together. That's dark matter, which is some other particle dark matter. But with dark energy, this pervades all of space. It very limited. It's like 10 times 29 grams for 2 centimeters. It's very tiny. But it's enough. It has a cosmic rotation. It's caused the universe again to start a new epoch of accelerated expansion.
Do you believe then that eventually we'll be lonely here? In other words, all other systems, stars, everything will move away from us and we'll be essentially on ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yes.
Yeah. In fact, the galaxies around us within the local group, like in Andromeda galaxy, which is actually coming back to Earth, it's called gravitation and
So eventually it's either passes or whatever.
plasma galaxies go from merge together. And it's but other galaxies out there, like beyond the Virgo cluster, those galaxies are going to be faster and faster. And eventually, the space is expanding so fast, it's like a rubber band.
Is it exponential?
Yeah.
Oh my. Yeah. Listen, Professor, hold on. We're not there. I want to back in time, take some calls if you're up for it, all right?
Sure.
Stay right where you are. We will be. Right back. Coast to Coast AM in the nighttime. I'll call ourselves from west of the Rockies at 1-800-625-5. East of the Rockies at 1-800-255-0320. From Sun Brothers, we start at 775-727-1222. Rockies, 775-727-1222. And the return was 1-800-255-18 days. Yesterday's gone, right? You can't go back. You might be able to go to tomorrow. You don't have to be from the day after tomorrow. Yesterday's gone. It's not coming back. But the professor is in a moment. There are so many things that we could talk about. But I want to turn the professor over to you for any questions you might have. So, Professor, welcome back. Let's see what Mark the line, you're on air with Professor Doc. Hello. Well, hello, thank you. You're very welcome. Where are you?
Art, this is Tom at KSFO 560 Hot Talk in San Francisco.
San Francisco, yes, sir.
I've got to say for all the callers, maybe they won't read it, but talking news here is like the sun coming up tomorrow morning is so good to hear you.
That's very kind, thank you. Do you have a question for the professor?
This is a very, very, very intelligent audience that you're speaking to, sir. And with all due respect, I have got to say that after 2 hours, I have not yet been able to determine, is my only problem, whether you believe that a time machine device that is created today on the 17th of October 2001 can bring us into the or not.
Are you saying you didn't pass? You cut out there.
Sure. I did say September 16th, yes or no.
Okay.
Well, from the discussion has to emanate from that.
All right. Okay. Okay.
If you create the time machine today, before that, space-time was really more or less flat, and you've twisted space-time today in order to make a time loop, in order to make a time machine, then you won't be able to use the time machine to go back to yesterday or the day before yesterday or last year.
Yes.
You could use it 3 days from now to come back to 2 days from now.
Well, that's kind of sad. I mean, I always really wanted to go back to the mid-50s. We all have to. I love the mid-50s. I had so much fun. I was a ham operator. The sun cycle was great. God, I was having a ball. So that's not going to be possible, is it?
Well, these are the solutions. This is what the general relativity solutions look like. They say that a time machine you can make that by twisting space-time, and before you've made the time machine, you can't use it to go back before that epoch. Now, Li and I have talked about that there might be a naturally occurring time machine, not one made by us, but one that existed at the very beginning of the universe that has quit. So it existed for a while at the very beginning and it quit. In this picture, you have Professor Linda in California has shown that inflating universes can burn off baby universes like branches coming off a tree.
Right.
And each branch grows up to be as big as the trunk and sprouts its own branches. You get an infinite fractal tree of universes there, but you still might wonder where the trunk came from. So we propose that one of the branches simply curved back around and grew up to become the trunk. So you had a little time loop at the beginning. Maybe it was very short, maybe 10 to the minus 40, 5 times 10 to the minus 44 seconds even. But a very tiny time loop at the beginning of the universe, naturally occurring when the universe was very young, and this would allow the universe to be its own mother. And there, the time machine exists at the very beginning of the universe, but it goes out of existence. And then today, again, you're seeing a more or less flat universe, so it's not sufficiently twisted today.
So it could not be reached since it ceased to exist.
No,
Since it ceased to exist, there would be no way.
we couldn't get back to it, no. But it could explain how the universe got here.
East of the Rockies, you're on the air with Professor Goss. Hello.
Hello, Art and Professor Goss. I just wanted to quickly say I'm calling from Denver, Colorado.
Denver, yes, sir.
First time I've been able to get through to you.
Well, here you are.
Okay, question I had, I just wanted to real quick say I love your program. It's just really great topic.
Thank you.
And the question I had is there anything in physics that we prove or disprove the existence of parallel dimensions? Well, the parallel universe thing, if you could build a time machine, let's say you build a time machine in the future, and it goes to the past, then the time traveler who went to the past could check it because he would, let's say, try to change events. And if he found out that he was frustrated in his attempts, that wouldn't necessarily prove that there wasn't, multiple universes, like the many worlds for quantum mechanics, because he might not just have tried hard enough, or he might not have done the right thing. He can never quite be sure. But if he went back in time and changed the past, then he would be sure that there was more than one universe, because he would see the new universe, let's say he went back in the past and prevented some assassination from occurring that he knew occurred. Then he know there was at least two universes. The universe he grew up in, where that assassination did occur, and the universe that he went and he prevented the assassination from occurring. So a time traveler could test this theory of multiple, the many worlds quantum mechanics.
There you are, Colin.
All right, well, thank you.
All right, thank you, and take care. And if that proved to be the case, that there were many worlds and many parallel universes, what possibilities would open to us? How can we use that?
Well, one thing would mean would be that there was, there would be a world out there where World War II never happened. There would be all the different possibilities would be out there. Regardless of whether or not anyone has built the time machine up to now, these would all be interlaced and so forth.
Why not matter? Because you could visit the world, or if you will immigrate to the world of your choice, where things were more than likely.
Yeah, so you might go through, when this was talked about in terms of, David Deutsch talked about this in terms of, wormhole, you might find a wormhole that would go through, and instead of landing on Alpha Centauri, you might land on Alpha Centauri in an alternate universe where
there'd be 20 girls every guy.
yes.
Right, Western Rockies, you're on the air with Professor Scott. Good morning. Hello.
Hi, my name is Nancy, and I'm from Honolulu, Hawaii.
420 guys every girl, Nancy. Okay, go ahead.
Well, first of all, I'd like to tell you how much I'm glad to see you back. And I have two questions. One is, you had a man on your show one time that said that he had built a time machine and he'd sit like you.
Oh, yes. Yes, me.
Have you ever used it?
Absolutely not. We nearly sent one of our company's lawyers away. We came within about 2 seconds of it. My wife was about to plug it in, but we never did that.
Okay. And
I later regretted that, by the way.
there's a question to your guest is, I would like to know, I feel that we create our own reality, and most of us have embracing realities as parents, in religion. And I have a brain tumor for 12 years, and I went to the Buddhist, and they explained to me that you were reincarnated many lifetimes, and you choose your parents, and you choose your lessons.
Yes.
And so that means that the people on the planet that you think have done all this terrible stuff to you, actually, when they're in spirit on the other side, they're the ones that love you the most. And so I wanted to ask him if he felt that the way we could get to the next level, instead of bombing everybody, if we would forgive them and send them love, if that would help us get to the next level.
Well, it would probably cause our extinction if you're referring to the current situation. That would be my take on it. And I don't think it's exactly a physics question. So we'll pass that one up on them with love. First time calling line, you're on the air with Professor God Love.
Hi, Professor.
Well, where are you? Where are you?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in Seattle.
Seattle, okay.
Yes. Wasn't it Einstein who said that if you travel faster than the speed of light, that at varying degrees, that you could travel, that you could actually time travel and not age? And what about, has anybody ever thought about the reverse effect of going against the speed of light at the same speed? Wouldn't that be able to get you back in time, in essence?
Well, the thing is that if you, let's say you're trying to go from here to Alpha Centauri, and it's 4 light years away, if you could beat a light beam there, then, and let's say you got there faster than 4 years, then in special relativity, there's some observer traveling in a rocket ship at a certain speed that would see your departure, your arrival as simultaneous events. And so this is why if you could beat a light beam, that way you could get from planet, according to the rocket observer, you could get from planet A to planet Moon to planet B at noon on the same day. And this is what's happening in my cosmic string solution. And then you take one string, you go behind one string, and you get from moon to moon, from planet A to planet B. You take the other string, you go back the other way, you get from planet B back to planet A at noon. So then you can shake hands with yourself on planet A at noon when you left. So it's true that if beating a light beam it allows you to make trips to the past. Going against, when you're going against or with the light beam is not so important. It's just whether you can exceed that speed. Now, you can't beat the light beam in a fair race because it's going faster than you are. But by a shortcut, if you sneak around and take a shortcut through a wormhole or around the other side of the cosmic string, then you can. And so this is the mechanism that we're using to make these crystal solutions for time travel to the past as possible.
Are they sure, though, that wormholes would work every time?
Well, wormhole can be the problem with making the wormhole is that you have to find, we think it on very small scale, like 10 to the minus 33 centimeters, space-time is frothy. And so you would hope to find a wormhole that connected, a microscopic one that connected to different places. And then you have to enlarge this and then keep it propped open. And it would require a negative energy density stuff to keep it propped open. But we've observed that in the laboratory that if you take two parallel plates of metal and put them very close together to each other, the vacuum, the empty space between them acquires a negative energy density. So this has been observed in the lab. And so this is what Thorne and his associates are using to prop open the wormhole. There's quantum effects that have to be considered. You have to consider whether in this wormhole geometry you have a self-consistent quantum state that doesn't blow up. And engineering, I found one of these for its early universe solution. But it's one of the things that's under investigation as to whether or not you can find a quantum state that doesn't cause the wormhole time machine to fail. But it's allowed in general relativity, and we have found some examples where the quantum state doesn't blow up. And so there may be that possibility seems to be open.
Does it help you?
A little bit, but can I say one more thing? You know, you guys are talking about movies somewhere in time.
Yes.
Can thought travel faster than the speed of light?
You'll say, well, thought doesn't travel at all, right, Professor? Right?
Well,
that is your view.
Sure. I mean, I would say, again, speaking of the physics, I would say that thought processes and things go at, speed, slower than the speed of light.
Well, you imagine that thought travels outside the physical brain at all, even at speeds slower than that?
I mean, I'm talking about the nerve and
well, you know what she was talking about that. She was talking about and you just don't buy into that one at all. You would never have to tackle for it impossible. In other words, you stumble in repeatable, scientifically verifiable proof of the paranormal. For example, thought traveling from point A to point B. I mean, how would a physicist even deal with that? If it could be scientifically proven, then what? Then everything goes turned upside down.
I mean, I think one of the people that I knew who was interested in this question was Brian Josephson, who invented the Josephson junction, which is important in, integrated circuits and so forth. I mean, French thought, which is certainly somewhat unconventional, that some of these unusual effects of consciousness in particular had to do with peculiar quantum mechanical effects, such as, we see superconductivity, and that's where current passes around for a while with apparently no resistance. And super fluidity.
The other way, that's room temperature now, getting close. Sure. And but even going back to what I said earlier, Professor, even there, your university in Princeton, they're doing work with random number generators. Have you looked into that?
I have not.
You don't have any random all these. You would run your many lines on random number generators.
Yeah, that's not my field. But I would say that scientists, are certainly, you might say, skeptical eye, but they can be persuaded by the right kind of experimental evidence. The example that comes to mind, which was one that was told by Phil Morrison, was that in the past, scientists doubted whether meteors actually hit the ground. In other words, everyone knew a meteor was going in the sky, something burning up in the Earth's atmosphere. But farmers would come in and say, look, I found this rock on my farm, and this is a meteor that came and hit my farm. So scientists doubted it.
Finally, enough meteors.
Finally, there was a case where Mr. Biel, who was a famous chemist, was invited to examine a meteor strike, and there was a meteor that broke apart in the Earth's atmosphere and was made into hundreds of pieces. And so people saw from hundreds of meteors coming in, and then hundreds of meteors landed in this village. They went through the roofs of houses, they landed on people's homes, and so we had investigated it, and then after that, people said, yeah, that's true.
Well, so in other words, Professor, a lot of physicists and hard scientists have to be literally hit in the head with a meteor before they buy it. Professor, hold on, we'll be right back. Well, this is Coast to Coast, and we're talking about time, travel, and really the nature of everything. Ride, call Idell from west of the Rockies at 1-800-618-8255. East of the Rockies, 1-800-255-5033. First time callers can join at 1-775-727-1222. And Vital Direct Line is open at 1-775-727-1295. And the camera and next new free dimensional technical 18 to 9. Professor Gott. Is my guest. His book is Time Travel in Einstein's Universe. Einstein's Universe. And if you'd like to get hold of that book, and I can imagine you would do a lot more reading, it's available by going to my website, tonight's guest info, and it'll take you right over to Amazon.com where you can snatch up a copy for yourself. Back down to Professor Gott. Behind me, Professor, I've got a Pentium 4 1.7 gigahertz computer, and things are changing rapidly. But suppose we were getting to the point, Professor, where we suddenly had a Pentium 7000, a quantum computer. A quantum computer, what can we do with that?
Well, one of the people have talked about is having a quantum computer, which takes advantage of the fact that particles have a wave-like nature, and so when you do some calculation, you send an electron through a couple of slits in the wall. There's just a wave function that tells you the probability of the electron landing at different places. And so, one of the things that people have talked about is arranging a quantum computer so that it would do a calculation. You were taking advantage of, as it were, in the main world theory of quantum mechanics, the fact that in a very different world, the computer would be working on many different aspects of the problem, and then at the end, you would all in parallel, and then they would interact with each other, and you'd put together the answer at the end, and it would give you your answer at the end. And again, if you're on the conservative side, you say, well, the peculiar laws of quantum mechanics allowed you to do this calculation and get the benefit of many different calculations being done, and you got your answer at the end. So there are people thinking about these things, of using this aspect of quantum mechanics to increase the computational ability of computers.
But if you actually had a quantum computer, you're doing these calculations simultaneously in parallel universes, essentially.
Yeah.
Then you actually might also have just arrived at time travel, might you?
Well, all these would be like going forward in time,
Yes.
So the idea was to use
You would swap the answer from,
about a billboard.
yes, sir. Right?
That might be helpful, yeah.
Okay, first time calling line, you're on the air with Professor Goff. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Yes, I am.
Oh, yeah. I got a question for Professor.
Okay, where are you, sir?
I'm out of Madison, Wisconsin.
All right, go.
Yeah, he claims if you travel fast enough, like through Einstein's theory, that one can go back in time. However, I got a question for him. The fastest one could possibly travel between point A and B would be 0 time, thus being in 2 places at one time. So you're essentially traveling from point A to point B in 0 time.
Right.
Now, how is that going back in time? Time is relevant. Space and time are one, and time passes everywhere in space simultaneously. So if you have like an alien on planet B and you're on planet A, time passes simultaneously throughout the universe. So the time there's the same as here.
Yeah. What I'm talking about is the fact that if we have a planet A and a planet B, and they're separated by 4 light years or something like this, I can travel if I go around the cosmic string. So I'm taking a shortcut. So I'm getting there in less than 4 years, according to my time. There's a few observer that's moving in a rocket ship at a speed less than the speed of light, and that observer, that's not shown with simultaneity at distant events, depends on observers. Observers will disagree over whether an event and one event happened, 2 distant events, whether one of them happened before or after the other. So you can find an observer who will say that I departed from planet A at noon on January 1st, and I arrived on planet B at noon on January 1st. And then, if I can do that trick once, by taking a shortcut around one cosmic string, another cosmic string moving in the opposite direction, well, I could make
But isn't the shortest distance between 2 points a straight line?
it is in Euclidean geometry if space-time is flat.
So the distance between 2 points
Space-time is curved.
is a finite, definite distance, that being a straight line. Now, the distance between 2 objects in space can be however great a distance one can imagine. And this theory, as far as going back in time, is just ridiculous because time is a measurement. And if the measurement's not taken, time in itself does not exist.
Well, these solutions are curves. And so, again, it's like on the surface of the Earth. If you going around the equator, and the north and south directions of space. If you go around the equator, you would be going left all the time, and that would be like towards the future. And so a person would look at you, and you would look at yourself, and you say, I'm going toward the future. If you continue on west, around west, around the Earth, you come back to the same place you were. You visit the same event twice. So you arrive back and take care of yourself and say, have a nice journey. And their clock. This could only occur if space and time were curved. Space and time is like a sheet of paper. This is like someone saying, well, there's no way you could ever travel west, then way west, never return to where you started. You might always end up far west.
Just a second was there time?
I'm calling from Midland, Texas on chat. In other words, what happens then? What happens next? I think about starting a small company. It seems so obvious. And let's just moderate that all this and all this starts going fast. That's what I do. It's your work of trouble. I think, considering my behind my community first time representative, you are representing all people on earth. And prior to your trip, you had to declare that you believed in God to take your seat on the machine and make the trip. Travel back in time, I promised to take an hour or two and maybe stop somewhere across the street. I
Alright, so time travel and Einstein's universe is your book, and it's available generally around everywhere, right? Amazon.com or something.
Yeah, you gotta go. Wow, you only have just begun.
Thank you for having. Thank you, my friend. Good night.
Okay.
Well, we are out of time. RCH is here tomorrow night. We'll be talking about Princeton again from the high desert Choctaw.